Let's come back here, where Ellah Lakes, one of Nigeria's Agro-Allied company listed on the stock exchange, is looking to raise some 235 billion naira from the investing public through the sale of 18.8 billion ordinary shares. Now, the public offer was part of the strategic transformation that the company has been implementing over the past 2 years. So, now joining me to discuss this and the broader agro-industrialization of Nigeria is the Managing Director and CEO of the company, and that's Chuka Mordi. He's live here with me in our studios in Lagos tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
It looks really much bigger than the last time we met.
True, we've made a lot of progress. Yes.
You're making progress as well.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming in. We really appreciate it. Let's get started on the public offer side. Where are we on that?
When it closes on the 19th of December, we're raising 235 billion naira. We're selling 18.8 billion shares at 12 naira 50 kobo. We're very confident of closing the transaction and closing our deal with Toron Group by the close of the year.
Interesting. That was an extension on the offer.
Yes, it was. We've had a lot of significant investor interest, so we figured giving more time to investors in order to consolidate the gains and make sure we close the offer confidently.
But what does it look like for now? At least you don't have all the numbers in, but at least from both retail and institutional investors side of things.
I think we're very confident, given the run rate we're at now, of closing quite successfully. And it's a function of the quality of the deal that we're getting. By the course of the first 18 months, we're increasing revenues over 200x to 24 billion naira. So I think just from the cash flow perspective, the quality of the deal, the nature of the numbers, and as the transformational nature of the transaction, we're very confident.
Yeah. I'm interested in you are the market,
yes.
On the market floor for a facts behind the offer presentation, and I'm sure you just want to recap a bit of that for me,
yes.
And how the public offer now fits into the wider strategic transformation that you've been doing over the last 1-2 years or so. Talk to me on that.
I mean, when we took over Ellah Lakes, it was an insolvent company. And I always said to shareholders, it would take us at least 4 years to move from recapitalizing the company because of what we were focused on to bring it back to profitability. We started that this year. We got the first cash flow through the sales of fresh fruit bunches at the start of this year. We installed our CPO mill. So now Ellah Lakes is processing and producing crude palm oil. So where we've been aiming to get to over the last 4 years. We have the diversification into livestock, and so we've had that long-term outlook over try and produce palm oil, but also livestock, the significant gap in the Nigerian agro sector. And I think it's a diversified approach in order to grow the company as significantly as we can. So
you also met with the shareholders,
yes.
Because you try to get the approval to say, look, this is how much we're raising and all of that. This is why we're doing
we
this.
succeeded in getting the approval.
Yeah, you got the approval. But there were also strategic acquisition.
Yes. So the main strategic acquisition, we needed shareholder approval for an EGM in order to raise this financing, because it's dilutive in terms of equity for new shareholders and for old shareholders, but it's very accretive in terms of value. So anyone who's been in Ellah Lakes for the last 9 months has made 3x. So they'll be diluted to a smaller percentage, but a smaller percentage of a much larger company. A much larger company generating much more significant revenues and higher profits with a bigger margins and bigger revenues over the next 5 to 10 years. If we close Q1 conservatively, we estimate 24 billion naira over the end of the first year. And with the diversification, we should be doing over 60 billion naira by the end of the second year.
That diversification was a major one, isn't it?
It is. I mean, right now it's producing just fresh fruit bunches. As we install the mill in our Agro-Allied plantation, we intend to install a mill over the next 9 months.
Where the factory is.
Where the factory is. So we'll have 2 mills, but this will be a 20-ton mill. So it has the capacity to do 20 tons of fresh fruit bunches. So we'll be producing a significant amount of palm oil, which is a lot more than we're producing at the moment. But we're going up the value chain. So we're doing crude palm oil, we'll be doing palm kernel oil, PKO, and we'll be doing palm kernel cake, PKC. So we'll have three particular products from this new plantation: CPO, PKO, and PKC. And of course, we're not wasting any aspect of what we're doing. The bunches are going back into the boiler to produce power for the mill, and we're selling the palm kernel oil. And the palm kernel cake is a significant additive for meal for livestock. So it's a part of our integrated agribusiness offering.
Very interesting. Let's chat a bit to the agro-allied industrial sector. Or what are the key issues that the sector really face at the moment as you step into that important sector that put food on the table, create jobs for everyone, can create value for shareholders and investors across the market, and part of the bigger macro picture where you talk about any country in the world, whether it's China, whatever.
I mean, of course, there are macro challenges, but over the medium term, we've had, I think, very helpful advantages from the currency stability. So currency stability is very important in terms of long-term planning for what we want to do. I think the last evaluation wasn't very helpful, but what it does now is, insofar as it's difficult when you're importing goods, what it gives you is a lower input base, so you're more competitive on the global market if you're exporting, and I think that's been very helpful. In the case of palm oil, we don't export anything. We don't export anything because of the supply-demand imbalance. So even if we double palm oil production locally over the next 2-3 years, we would still have a growing market for consumers locally. So I think that's very helpful. Also, palm oil is indexed to the global markets, priced in dollars. So the Naira stability is very helpful for understanding the nature of our income and long-term planning. Also, because we import the heavy industrial aspect of the CPO machinery, so the press, the mills, the sterilizers, those are priced in USD. So I think the Naira stability, the macro stability in terms of inflation is very helpful in making long-term plans. So our hope, our expectation is over the medium to long term, we should have price stability in terms of inflation, well, inflation going down, and stability in relation to the outlook on the exchange rate.
What about investments and business opportunities in that sector? Are you encouraged by not only investments that your company is making, that others are making in the industry in the agro-allied sector? Do you think investments are beginning to come in despite
I think in our
challenges?
sector in particular, it's very encouraging to see companies like Presco. Presco is investing significantly in our particular sector. And I think we're following in the footsteps of Presco. I mean, of course, our ambition is to overtake Presco over the next 5 years. But I think as an example for what we can become and the trajectory we're trying to aspire to in the palm oil space or the oil palm space, Presco is certainly up there with the biggest of them. I mean, Presco's market cap is around the $1 billion range now, and that's a target that we set ourselves to try and achieve over the next few years. But that signals the nature of confidence in the sector, in the market, in the country, and where we think we think is possible to achieve over the medium to long term. I mean, agriculture is a very significant contributor to Nigeria's GDP.
I was about to ask about how critical Agro-Allied is to Nigeria's quest for industrialization, for non-oil exports, for job creation.
I wouldn't say for industrialization, but I would say in terms of optimizing the value chain in the agri sector, the investments coming on stream now will be very, very important in making it more optimal for investment in Nigeria. I think growing efficiency. I think trying to make sure that farmer education, modern agronomy practices, all these will bring significant value addition into the agribusiness space. And I think the sort of growth that we can achieve in the agriculture space can catalyze the general macroeconomy.
Are we making progress?
Are we making progress? I think we're making a significant amount of progress, and I'm very happy with where we are at the present time. Can we make a lot more? Without question. But I think one starts with small steps before making those big leaps and bounds, and that's what we're trying to do too.
Because again, when you look at the GDP numbers and you look at the contribution of agriculture, as it were, and its growth, it looks like it's still lagging.
Don't forget, we've come out of 8 years of tiny to negative growth, and so you first have to stabilize, and then I think figure out how you want to start to make progress, because it's got to be done in a fairly deliberate way, and it's an integration of policy making from the government with inputs from the private sector. So we're working hand in hand in trying to develop the space.
All right, so let's talk to me about briefly about the markets this year. I mean, the financial markets. What's your outlook for next year, this year as well on the market? Do you think the market has been fairly decent this year, well performed?
I think from a local perspective, yes. My outlook for the market next year, it's a tricky one. I don't like to make predictions. I'm no longer a banker. But I think if we have there are certain externalities that I think are beyond our control. The global markets, turmoil in Europe, America, or Asia, which is not something we can control. And those externalities can affect the local markets. But I think if we can manage inflation down, I think if we can keep an exchange rate that is stable and constant, obviously the political side, you need to have political stability. And I think if a combination of those three factors going in a direction that is good for Nigeria will encourage significant growth. And I think growth, is what we need in order to catalyze the economy and move forward. So in terms of outlook, I'm expectant, very hopeful, and I expect a lot of progress.
Is there some momentum?
Significant momentum, yes. Yes, I do.
Interesting. Did you make money on the market this year?
I mean, Ellah Lakes has done over 4x, so I think my shareholders are very, very happy. They made money.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. I love that. It's the investors and shareholders market.
I mean, we have, I think, at the last count, just over 10,000 shareholders they invest in public, and they are the majority shareholders of the company. Of course, I'm one of the biggest shareholders, but I think if we can satisfy our shareholders in the medium to long term, then we know we can encourage more investment in the sector. As I said earlier, we've been trying to grow and invest in over the past 5 years, and we've committed to paying dividends next year because we think we have the capacity and the cash flow to start doing so. And I think once we start paying dividends, shareholders have experienced over the last couple of months capital growth, and if you're getting capital growth and income also, I think it becomes a very attractive stock for you invest in public, and that's where we want to be.
Interesting. The Agro-Allied industry is one good big story for me, and I really love it each and every time I see that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very
much. It's good to have you.
Thank you.
And it's been a good year. Thank you for speaking with us.
Thank you very much.
We wish you all the best
Yes.
on the offer and the rest of your team at Ellah Lakes. Thank you so much, Chuka Mordi, Managing Director and CEO at Ellah Lakes PLC.